What's up guys? I'm gonna show you how to edit and build a website within GoHighLevel. And today specifically, I'm gonna be using this free funnel that I have created for you guys. So if you want to follow along and edit this funnel to your specific brand, go ahead and do so by using the link below when you get your GoHighLevel account. When you use that link, I'll give you this free funnel. All right, we're gonna be going into the Sites tab within our GoHighLevel account. When you edit funnels and websites, when you build them, it's literally the same process. So I'm going to be tweaking with this funnel today and show you the basics. So step one, let's go to settings and connect this to a live domain. So that way it will be live on the web. And how you're gonna do that is hit connect domain, put in your domain. Mine is leadgetter.net because that is my marketing business. Connect. Hit connect again. And what you're gonna wanna do is it's gonna populate some records that we're gonna need to copy and paste into our domain hosting platform, Squarespace, GoDaddy, Cloudflare. For me, it's Squarespace, but we're going to copy over these records. That way we can connect this domain. Record one is an A record. So I just clicked over into my Squarespace account and I'm going to click my domain and then find the DNS button right here, going into the DNS settings. And then we're gonna scroll until it says add record. Right here where it says add record, we're gonna paste our first record, which was the A record. And then next we're gonna copy and paste our second record, which is the C name record. And I'm going to paste the required value. The host is, all right. Back in my DNS settings, I'm gonna go add record. It may ask you for a password from time to time, so that's totally normal. So I'm going to go host. There's the data, and the type is a CNAME. Perfect. So, and the required value in your DNS settings is going to be A-list data. So that way you're not confused. And then the host is the same in the host. Then I'm going to go save. Oh, it looks like, okay. So you see how this host is already in use by a CNAME record. If that ever pops up, that happens to be because either the record already auto-populated or you've already had that record in there. So I'm going to go cancel. I'm going to go back and then I'm going to hit verify records. Let's see if it works. Because it might already have the records already in there and I don't have to do much. So let's go back to our sites. Let's hit connect. Now we've connected our domain, and this is a section within the website where you can add specific coding like tracking codes. If you want a logo, like see how up here I have my logo on the open tab. That's called a favicon, and this is where you would enter that image URL. I would recommend to even get that URL is actually going to your media storage, uploading the media to this, and then you can go 3 dots, get link, and then you can go back into your sites and paste that link right here to get a favicon, and then hit save. All right, so let's go ahead and start editing. You're gonna click this big edit button right here. And now that we are inside the editor, this is what it looks like. If you wanted to, actually, let me clone this. I don't know what this is up. If you wanna clone this, because I wanna clone this, I like how this looks, I don't really wanna mess with it. I'm going to hit clone funnel step, and clone funnel step in this funnel is what I'm going to do. So if you ever have a page that you really like, but you wanna make some tweaks and you don't know if they're gonna look good, just clone the page. So we're gonna go down to the home clone, hit edit. All right, now that we're inside the editor, the first thing you wanna do is recreate this header. And to do that, we're going to hit the add elements up here, give me the sections tab, and you're gonna click and drag and drop this full width element. As you can see, there are 3 different elements inside of this green box. So there's the blue box, which is a column, this is a section, and this is a tinier column inside the blue column. So it goes green, blue, purple. So what we wanna do is add a blue column that's gonna have 3 mini columns. Here we go. So we have that blue column right here. It has the 3 mini columns right here. And we're gonna go add an image for the logo. So add an image, drag and drop. Lead getter. So if it's really big, what you wanna do is go down here, and I typically like to do like 100 by 100, just so it's a nice square. There we go. See, that looks a lot more realistic, but honestly, I would probably do more 80. That looks even better. Perfect. So now we have that. We're going to add a navigation menu right here. So go add. You can totally search this as well. You do not have to scroll. Navigation menu, drag and drop. Awesome. So what I'm going to do, it has a picture of your logo right there, but I don't like that. I'm going to take that off, and we're also going to take out the business name. So in the menu section right here, we're going to toggle this off. Bam. We're also going to toggle off the logo settings. And to edit the font of the words, you can go down to typography and do a headline font. I'm gonna do a custom font. I typically like to do what's called Montserrat, I think is what it's called. I like to do that font a lot. You can change the size of it. You can change the weight of it if you want it to be more bold, less bold, line height. If you want it to be all caps, uppercase, all the things that you can do. And if you want to add little icons as well, so there's an icon right here, you can add icons as well, which is really nice. And to move this section, let's say I want the contact next to the home, all I would do is click, hold, and drag. And if I wanted an element that was like this team one where I have to click about in order to get to the team, what I'd want to do is just drag, drop, and hold it under like that. So you want to kind of hold it right under the about instead of out on its own, just a slight shift. All right, so next we're going to click back out here and we're going to go add a button. Click, drag and drop. Oh, wrong section. Click, drag and drop. And I want this nice pink color that I have. Oh, sometimes if you can't see, you gotta scroll up. There you go, I'll show up. If you have a specific color that you're trying to find, this is what I'd recommend you do. You wanna find this hex code, and to do that, you're gonna go over into Canva, click into a random project, and let's say uploads, I have this image and I really like this purplish color, and I wanna know what color it really is by its hex code number. I would put it into my project, I would click on some text, and then I'd hit the text color up here. And in order to find that color in this picture, you can go here and it will have the hex codes. I'll click that color. And then if I go here, it'll pop up the hex code that I wanted to use, which is really cool because then I can copy that over, come back into GoHighLevel, go add, and then place my hex code right there and get that exact color. If you want to change the words, let's say like buy now, and you can have this button do quite a bit of things. I can open a pop-up, go to a website to download a file. I like to go to a certain step within my website. So this would be the opt-in page, the upsell page, whatever, order form, because we want them to buy now. And then I would scroll down and you can also add icons as well. So if I wanted to add an arrow like that, you can do that as well. That's the leading icon, so it'll show up in the front, but if you want a trailing icon, you can also do one right here. Let's say you want to make the text bigger, but you want it to be, you don't want the padding to be as big. Tone down that padding on the sides of the button. So go into styles and see how it says 32. We're gonna change that to 20. Change it on both sides and we're gonna adjust this one to 10. Make it nice and skinny. So yeah, you just wanna adjust the size however you see fit. And to add a black border like so, we're going to go back into styles, see full border, it's solid, you have dashed and dotted as well. And then the width of it is 1, and we're going to change the border color and hit black. And see how there's a slight curve right here? That's the border radius, whereas this one has no curve. So to fix that, you're gonna find border radius. It's at a 5 right now. We're gonna drop it down to a 0. All right, and if you wanna do a box shadow, you could totally do that. You can also adjust the box shadow so that it's not as bright. I typically do a nice blur, or I'll do a lighter gray as well. So to adjust that, you just drag that up. To add any animations, you go over to this tab right here. You can do entrance animations or a hover animation. So entrance means if you refresh your screen, the first time the button comes into the screen is what it's gonna do. So if I wanted to have it go like that or go up, but if I were to hover over it, it would either elevate, so like that, or it would wobble. Like that. To fix this green section right here, she's looking a little big. We're gonna go to this style and we are going to take this down to 0 because I want it to be skinny. See how the purple has some padding as well on the top, and the blue will too. So you just wanna be mindful of how much padding each section has because it does add up. If you want to be skinnier, you just go through every single section and make it skinnier. All right, moving on to this section right here. So this is what it looks like. In order to change the background photo, we're going to click onto this green section and it's gonna pop up background right here. You can either do a color background, you can do a gradient background, you can change the color, the start color, the end color, you can do it at an angle, or you can do an image, which is what I did. You're gonna hit this image box right here, find your image. Let's say I was doing for woodworking. What I would recommend is either full center or full center parallax. Full center parallax is when you're moving, the text is moving, but the image isn't, so it stays put. So let's say I wanna make this background a little bit darker because I wanted my text to really pop. And so what I would do is you would click gradient off and we have a black background right here. You can change it to be white, whatever. I'm gonna have it be black because I want my background to be darker. I'm gonna go to my images because I still want the image to show. And I'm going to use that same image that I had, going to click into that, awesome, but it's very light, like you can barely see the text. And so what I'm gonna do is head over to background image opacity. It's at none right now. I'm going to see what half fade looks like. Okay, here we go. Heavy fade is a lot, but I would probably do half fade, maybe heavy fade. To save any of your changes, you wanna go up here, hit that little save button, and to preview, you want to hit this eye. So this is what it looks like when you have that light fade over it. Also, if you want to delete a section, this is how you do it. Like let's say we built this section right here, but I want to delete it. It doesn't look as good as the first one. So I'm going to click that blue and I'm going to hit this trash can right here. Bam. But the green section is still left over. So we want to make sure we click that as well. Now we're going to hit save in the top right corner, preview. Much better. So this is what it looks like. This is how to do a light fade on the photo background. Looks really nice. Again, if you wanted to do the full parallax, I'll show you what that looks like. I tend to use this on some of my sections. So this is what the full parallax looks like. Notice how the picture stays the same, but the words and everything else move. Let's move on. We are going to go down to this section right here. So as you can tell, this is just a blue section. And in order to add that back, we're gonna hit this plus icon, go to sections, drag that full width section. Now we're gonna add a blue. We're gonna go, let me see how many. Typically, if items are side to side, that means there are multiple purple sections, the mini sections, next to each other. But if it's stacked on top of each other, like this one, how it has business that I helped through my online business lead getter, notice how this is one purple with multiple text elements inside that one purple. So if it's stacked on top of each other, it's typically one purple. If it's icons next to each other horizontally, it's typically multiple purples. My goal is to recreate this. And in order to do so, we're going to hit add. We're gonna hit one column right there and then add. And we're going to add a headline. Hey, this is a test. I have a Beba's New, I think that's what it's called. I don't know, but I like this font. It's real good. I love it. Anyway, so that's the font I'm using right now. And it's a slight blue, which I don't love. We're gonna change that to black. All I'm really gonna do is we're gonna make the text bigger. I really want it to stand out. You can make it extra bold if you want, semi-bold. Sometimes if it doesn't change, you have to highlight it and then it'll change. There you go. Next, we're gonna go to this second line. So my online business lead getter, we're gonna hit, let's make it easy. Let's duplicate that. I don't know why it keeps going to this weird blue color. I don't know what is up with that. But we're gonna go to the black and I'm going to make the font way small because I want the first one to stand out. And notice how there's a nice neon color that's flashing, kind of makes it stand out. In order to do that, we're going to scroll down to the background color and click whatever color you want. I'm gonna do that neon color again. But if you just leave it like that, it's not gonna look how it's supposed to. It's going to have so much space. So what we're gonna do to fix that is go into the style section where our padding is, and we are going to trim that down by a lot. So we're gonna go into our outside padding, which means it is outside of the color, and we are going to make it like 180, a lot. Oh, not even close to enough though. 180. Let's see, yeah, not even close. Let's go 380. That's better, 380. That's much better. All right, so you're gonna wanna add some side padding right here. This padding, again, is on the outside of the color. If I were to add padding right here, this is inside of the color. So I'll show you what that looks like. Notice how the letters from the color move to the side when I use that padding, like that, like that. It's inside the color, where this one is on the outside. All right, next we have this logo carousel scrolling as we are viewing the website, which let me tell you, I used to have to create that manually with a lot of code and it sucked. But now GoHighLevel is the best ever and they just created an element that I can drag and drop. So that's pretty sick. What we're gonna do is go to add right here. Also, if you haven't noticed already, you can either hit the plus sign right here or you can just hit the plus sign up here. And we're gonna go down to elements and go logo showcase is what's called. So select, drag and drop. Awesome. Now, what you're gonna wanna do, you can do a carousel where they have to manually click, or a ticker. I like the ticker, just does its thing. If you want to change the logos to brands that you have worked with, then you're going to click right here and change out the image right here. Let's add that one. Perfect, it changed the image, so great. If you want, you can add a call to action link so it actually links to something if they click it. It's pretty sick if you want to do that. Also, you can change the size right here. You can change if it goes fast or slow. Pause on the hover, you can turn that off if you don't. If you want to just keep going, or if you want to pause like that when you're hovering. You can add a background color if you want. Let's say I wanted to change logo to, change the image right here. Bam. Now let's move on. I'm gonna delete this section because it don't look good. So this next section right here, we know how to do the text. This is just adding a subheading. So we've added a lot of headings. This is adding a subheading right here. You just drag and drop. Let's say I have a paragraph right here. And notice how it's in the middle, styles, right here, text and line. And notice how it's really close to this other text. I don't want that. I want some space. So I'm going to click this text and I'm going to go above, and remember how we want to have some space above the actual text. So we're going to go to the outside padding and hit maybe, let's do 20, maybe 40. Yeah, so I would hit about 40. Yeah, that's what I would do. So just add some padding there. That way there's some space. All right, now you probably have noticed this cool image with multiple images inside of it. And you can build this in GoHighLevel. It just gets really technical with negative padding and kind of some crazy stuff. So an easier way to do this is actually to build it in Canva. So what I went ahead and did is over in Canva. So I actually screenshot this from another guy who had something very similar that I wanted to copy for inspiration. And so I went ahead and grabbed the photos that I wanted to and overlaid them over his original photo, just like so. This is how it turned out. And if I want to save this in Canva, this is what I would do. I would hit save, download. I always save my content on my websites and funnels as an SVG. It comes out way clearer. So SVG, I'm gonna go transparent background, and I'm just gonna go current page. Hit download, and then you've saved your picture. You'll go back into GoHighLevel, add image, click your image right here, upload it, bam. Then you have your image and it looks super sick and something you can't typically do in GoHighLevel. Or you can, but again, it takes a lot of time. So we just save time. Sounds good. Moving on to the next section. So in order to create this graphic, again, I used Canva. I uploaded my image. So let's say I'm going to uploads. I want to upload this image right here. And this image was actually, clearly it's AI. As you can tell, it's not really me, but it did not a bad job. So I was actually pretty happy with it. I created this in Nano Banana. So if you haven't used Nano Banana yet, you definitely need to. I want to create the image not to fully fit my frame because I need some of that to add some dimension to my element in my photo. And then I go into the elements part of Canva and I said podcast element. It took me a while to find the right one that I wanted, but I would click the element and I wanted to kind of lean off the image. So that is what I did. And I would have, a different color. I would size it correctly. So I would hover over this, just click and drag, and then I would make this entire thing a little bit bigger until it fits the screen just about. And what I would do here is I would honestly save this background. It's a white background right now because my website is white, but if your background is black on your website, I would save it as that. So it saves you time, and you can download this with a transparent background, but sometimes Canva doesn't download it as a transparent background. So to make it easier for you and the software, I would just have this background as the background of your website. Let's head back over. Again, add an image, upload it here, bam. And if you want to resize it, you can totally do that right here. Now let's move on. For something like this, there is a parallax background going on in the image. So that's clicking the green section. Here's the image right here. And see full center parallax, half fade. So it has a color behind it. If I were to change that color, let's say I want red, that's what it would look like. But for this, so see they have two purples, but one purple is invisible. So in order to do that, we're gonna hit two columns, drag and drop, purple one, purple two. I want purple one to actually have the color. So background color right here, it says nothing, it's transparent. We're gonna change that to white. And this one, we're gonna keep transparent. We have this headline, so we are going to add a headline in here, drag and drop. Now we have another headline, but with that neon background. Again, I want to add it to I want to lean to the side, so we're gonna scroll, just kidding, it's in style. We're gonna scroll, text align, and I wanna add a little bit of padding to the side as well. So let's do 20, let's do 10. All right, gonna make that text a little bigger. There we go. Awesome. So we have another headline. I'm just going to copy this. I want the lines to be a little bit closer together. So what I would do for that is actually go to style. You can't do a negative padding inside. You have to do a negative padding on the outside. And this is how you're going to get two different headlines to come closer together if they are two separate headlines. So hit the padding that is outside of the text. Go negative. Let's try negative 10. Okay, maybe negative 20. So that's what you would do. You can't notice how if I were to try to do negative inside this one, it doesn't let me. Yeah, it goes back to 0. So it just doesn't work like that. So let's go back to our negative. And again, this one has a neon background with it. So we're gonna find the background color. We're going to hit neon, awesome. But again, we don't want all this space. It doesn't look good. So how do we fix that? Go to styles. The outside padding will cut that color down. Then we have a paragraph, which is a subheading. Click the orange button right here, subheading, put underneath. I want it to align to the left, so I'm going to have my orange box clicked, go into styles, align to the left, but it's a little bit too much aligned to the left. It's not matching up with the other two headlines. So I remember that I added padding to the headlines. I added a 10. Bam, now everything matches up. I want a little space between the sub headline and the headline. Look a little weird. So we're gonna add some space there. All right, bam. So I would add my text. I'm just going to copy this over. And let's say I wanted my side right here to come in. I want it to be a more squeezed box of text. I would come to my padding. Let's hit 40, let's hit 80. See how it just gets tighter and tighter if I add some padding on the right side. So that's how to do that. Let's add our button, same thing, drag and drop. Let's add a little bit of spacing. I don't want to be that close to the text. Let's add like a 20. All right, go back to general and change the color of that button back to that cute peach. And we're gonna go back to the style because I don't want it to, first of all, I want to have a black border, so we're gonna change that. I don't like how it's a slightly curved border. We're gonna change that back to 0. I want it to be nice and spiky. And then a button align, I want it to align on the left side, but we also have to add some padding because our text has padding. Ooh, we need some space between this and this. So let's do like 40, maybe 20. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right, the text is really small, but the button is really big. There's a lot of padding right there. That's on the inside, so let's change that to 20, 20. Let's do a 10 and a 10. I just wanna make it skinnier, make the text bigger. Something cool that you guys can do as well is you can actually have the text of the button have a bit of a shadow. So in order to do that, you're gonna go to Style and Shadow, Text Shadow right here. You can adjust the text shadow if you want to, if you wanna make it like black. You can totally do that. Notice how we have our box. Obviously, it's not done how I would do it because this is how I would do it. But with a little bit more tweaking, you get the idea of what it can look like. This section right here, I got this from some inspiration from another guy. All right, so I created this element in Canva and this is how I did it. So text, you go add a headline, pick your font, type out the text you want. And I have this square element, which you go elements, rectangle, click it, shapes, and then you're able to make it into a nice little highlight line. When you first add that block as a highlight line, it shows up like this. Obviously you want it behind the text, you don't want it in front. So you're going to click the box, hit the 3 dots, go to layer and say send back. That is what I did with this image as well. I actually, notice how the lettering is in front. I just had the image and I said send back and then it puts it behind the text. So what I did for that image, by the way, is I clicked my image and I went to background remover, but I also knew I wanted to cut out my mom, unfortunately. So I went to magic eraser, hit the brush size, brush over it. I'm gonna do a light trim right now just because for demonstrational purposes and to make it go fast. Hit erase. Now we have our cutout. And again, just resize, tilt it a little bit, 3 dots, layering, send back, bam. It goes backwards. So, and notice how there's a little bit of a gradient right here, and that is because I added one. So I have a gradient going on. You're gonna go to elements. I wanted a white one so that it would blend into the rest of my website because the background of my website is white. I recommend doing that. If your website background is black, do a black gradient. So white gradient, this one right here will do. It is facing upside down right now, so we're going to turn it right side up at a 180. And we are going, actually, let me take out the other gradients that I had, that way you can see. So see if there's no gradient, you literally see a sharp line of where the image is cut, and I don't like that. That does not look professional. So we're gonna slide it down there, and notice how if you have just one gradient, you can still see it. So what I did was I click, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I just kept copying and pasting until I liked the look of it. Obviously that's a lot of gradient, I'd probably adjust it, but you can do so if you drag it down. Save as an SVG because that's the best quality. Once I download that, I hit add a full, okay. Sometimes the sections get a little wild, so I'm gonna hit the down arrow because I want the section to go where I want it. Anyways, so I hit the green section, add a full width. I'm gonna go add, and I have to add a column first before you add an image. Hit add, image, drag and drop, upload my image. And notice how it's pretty small here. Again, that's just going down to the width and height side and adjusting that, moving on. So for something like this, where it has individual sections where you could put your services or something you want them to do, just looks really nice and neat. What I would recommend is, notice how this is a blue section, but we're gonna need a green first. So add, again, pull up a full width. And my full width went up here, but it's fine. We're gonna go to add a section and we're gonna duplicate this blue section 3 times. But what we wanna keep in mind is notice how these sections aren't touching each other. So we have to add some padding in between each blue section. So blue section right here, outside padding, you're gonna hit, let's say 40. All right, now go to the second blue section, outside padding, hit 40. And then the last one, let's hit 40 down there as well. Perfect. Now that we have that, let's add a background color to these sections. So yeah, it was like that kind of color gray. But what was cool about it is it also had a nice little black border. So we're gonna do that as well. Go over to style, full border. It already has black. I don't like how thick that is. I want it to be a little thinner. So we're gonna go thin. If you wanted to add a border radius and make it a little bit of a curve, you totally could do that. That is what it would look like. I'm not gonna do that. So, and then doing that for the last one as well. So clicking the blue, general, find the background color is transparent right now. We're gonna make it this light gray color. Then going back to styles, finding border, go full border, make it a little bit skinnier. Nice. So now that we have our columns, our section actually has, we know how to make a title, so we're not gonna go over that, but you're gonna add a headline and you're gonna add a picture right here. Notice how there's 2 elements, the headline and the picture right next to each other. What does that mean? There is 2 purple boxes. In order to do that, we're gonna go click add. We're gonna add 2 columns. One column is gonna have our headline, so we're gonna drag and drop. And one column is gonna have our image. So right there, I'm gonna go to style, text align to the side. I'd add a little bit of padding probably like 10. So subheadline, drag and drop. I want it to align to the left. Bam, add a little bit of padding so it matches. Notice how the text wording is like in the middle of this photograph. And what if you want it up top? You want the image and the text to align up top. What you're gonna do is click the purple box. You're going to go down to column layout, and where it says content spacing center, you're gonna click that and hit left. That, for some reason, will push it all the way up to the top. And you wanna do that with this image as well. So content center, go left. And whenever you save it and preview it, that is when it will look aligned. See how my text aligns with my image? That is how I do it. Anyways, you just add a button. All right, so moving on down to this section right here, all we're gonna do is click add a full width section. So we're gonna go over here and pick background color black. Then we got a headline, so we're gonna drag and drop. You can change the text color right here if you double click the text, or if you just click on the headline, you can go down here and also change the color as well. We want a background color, and we are also going to add some padding to the side. Remember to do padding on the outside for this because you're trying to shrink the actual color down. Column, so right here, 1, 2, 3, and add an image to each one of these. So image, and what you can do is just honestly duplicate them all and then drag and drop into the next column. So now we'd import all of our images, add a button. And I will say that I actually made these images in Canva. So literally pop an image in there, add some text, and then bam, it's super simple. So this was made in Canva. This is not GoHighLevel text I can click and edit in here. And finally, y'all are going to add a button. So I would do is add another column right here. So that way it has its very own column and has all its space. Then we're going to add a button, drag and drop. So that is how you do the 3 section. So if you have services, if you have a 3-step process on how to get started, you could have starting is simple, starting is easy, 1, 2, 3 steps to start. And here's your call to action button. All right, moving on to this section right here, full width section. Then grabbing a 2 column. This column obviously has an image, while this column has the headline, the subheadline, and the button. So you would go here, add image, add your headline. And I'm not gonna go through this in depth just because I feel like we've done this multiple times. I don't wanna get really repetitive, but here, let's say I wanted to align it to the left and I wanted it to match the top of my image. Remember, that is when you're gonna go down to general and you are actually going to click the purple one, but see how it says content spacing center, you're gonna go content spacing left. You'll add your subheadline, add your button, and call it a day. All right, you guys, that is how you build a simple website within GoHighLevel. If you have any questions, please comment down below and let me know any of your concerns, and I'll try to help out as best as I can. And if you have in-depth questions, I'll even make a video about it. So I'll see you next time. Bye.